The man who spoke only once. No one in the town remembered the man ever speaking. He lived in a narrow house at the edge of the old railway, where trains no longer passed, and time seemed to slow down. Every morning, he walked the same path, bought the same loaf of bread, and returned home before noon. He nodded politely when greeted, but never said a word. Like and subscribe to more stories. People called him the Silent Man. Children dared each other to knock on his door and run away. Adults whispered theories. Some said he had committed a terrible crime. Others believed he had lost his family in a fire, and his voice along with them. No one truly knew. Until one winter evening, when everything changed. Lena moved to the town after her mother's death. She was 26, exhausted by grief, and desperate for quiet. The town offered that, too much of it, perhaps. From her window, she could see the Silent Man's house. Every night, a single light turned on at exactly 9 p.m. every night. It turned off at exactly 10 o'clock. Lena watched without knowing why. One night, the light didn't turn off. The next morning, Lena found something unusual on her doorstep. A small envelope. No stamp. No name. Inside was a single sentence, written in careful handwriting. Some silences are chosen. Others are imposed. Her heart raced. She looked around the empty street. No one. That evening, at 9 p.m. she stood by her window. The light in the Silent Man's house turned on. She made a decision she didn't fully understand. She put on her coat and walked outside. The knock echoed louder than she expected. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the door opened. The Silent Man stood there, older than she imagined, his eyes sharp but tired. She spoke before fear could stop her. "I found this letter. I think it's from you." He looked at the envelope. His hands trembled slightly. He stepped aside, inviting her in. His house was clean, almost painfully orderly. No photographs. No decorations. Just books. Hundreds of them. He gestured for her to sit. Then, slowly, he spoke. His voice was rough, unused, but clear. "I was a teacher," he said. "Words were my life." Lena listened, barely breathing. "Years ago," he continued, "I taught children how to question, how to think. That made certain people uncomfortable." He paused. "They told me to apologize publicly, to say I was wrong, to stay silent afterward." "And you refuse?" Lena asked softly. He nodded. "So they made sure no one would listen to me again." He explained everything. How he was arrested. How his name was erased from records. How every attempt to speak afterward led to consequences, not only for him, but for others. "So I chose silence," he said, "to protect those I loved." Lena felt tears burn her eyes. "But why now?" she asked. "Why speak to me?" The man looked at her carefully. "Because I am dying," he said, "and because silence only works when everyone agrees to it." The next day, Lena uploaded a video. She didn't show his face. She didn't say his name. She only told the story, his story. By morning, thousands had watched it. By night, millions. Others came forward with similar stories. Teachers, writers, ordinary people who had been forced into silence. The town buzzed with something it hadn't felt in years. Hope. 1 week later, Lena returned to the house by the railway. The lights never turned on again. On her doorstep, she found one last envelope. Inside, a final sentence: "Thank you for listening." Some people still pass the house and wonder who lived there. Others remember, because even a voice that speaks only once can echo forever. Like and subscribe to more stories.